Alright, so we have been asked to factorize. So let's look at the first question, that is y minus xy plus x minus 1. Alright, so since there is no factor which is common to all four terms, let's try factorizing by grouping. The first two terms, what's the common factor? This y. Alright, and y times what would give us this y, that's y times 1, minus y times what would give us xy, it is x, y times x is xy. Alright, we're done with the first two terms. Now let's look at the next two terms. We would put this plus as it is. When it comes to x and 1, what's the common factor? It's 1, because the highest common factor of x and 1 is 1. So 1 is the common factor, and what would go into the brackets? That's x minus 1. Now what have we got? We have got, let me write, we have got y times 1 minus x, and we have got plus 1 times 1 minus, or rather x minus 1. Write this, or how many terms do we have? We are ended up with two terms. This is the first term that I'm underlining in green, and the one which I'm underlining in blue now, that's the second term. Is there a common factor? What's here? Y is getting multiplied by 1 minus x, so the factors are y and 1 minus x, and in the blue term the factors are 1 and x minus 1. So there is no common factor, but can't we write this x minus 1 as 1 minus x? So let's see how can we do that. So y times 1 minus x. Now what am I doing? I'm writing, instead of writing x minus 1, I write 1 minus x. Now when I do that, what have I done? I have changed the meaning, because what was one sign, it was minus. Now when I wrote it as 1 minus x, what's one sign here? There is no sign. So when there's no sign written here, what is it? It's plus. And what about x? X was plus x. Now I have made it minus x. What have I done? I have changed the meaning, which cannot be done. I can't change the meaning. I got to preserve the meaning. So how can I rectify that error? How can I correct that error? What do? I put a minus 1. I make this plus 1 to minus 1. I change the sign here. Plus becomes minus. Now why is that done? Why is that done? Preserve the meaning, because the previous step here, when we remove the brackets, when we expand the brackets, what do we get? Plus 1 times x is plus 1x, and plus 1 times minus 1 is, plus into minus is minus, 1 times 1 is 1. Alright, let's see whether I get the same thing over here. So minus 1 into 1, that is minus 1, and minus into minus is plus, and 1 times x is 1x, or simply x. So x minus 1 and minus 1 plus x both mean the same. So to make sure that I don't do any changes to the meaning, What do? I switch the terms. I put -1 here, or it becomes +1, and x is -x. But make sure that I'm not changing, I'm not altering the meaning. I'm going to put a -1 here. Alright, now let's compare the two terms. Let's look at the two terms. We have y times 1 minus x, and we do have -1 times 1 minus x. What's the common factor? We see that 1 minus x is there in both the terms. So that's a common factor. So when there's a common factor, what do? We ask him to go out. So what would go out? 1 minus x would go out. Then what's going to come in? From the first term, from the term that I'm circling in pink now, what would come in? Y would come in. Then from the term that I'm circling in white now, what would come in? This green -1 would come in. So what's the final answer? It is 1 minus x times y minus 1. Alright, let's look at question number 2. To do question number 2, you got to know how to factorize difference of two squares. I hope you know what is it. You got to know that x squared minus y squared can be factorized as two brackets. Write the two letters, one with a plus, another one with a minus. X plus y times x minus y. Now we got to use this to do question number 2. So we have been told, we have been given a minus b whole thing squared, subtraction 100 c squared. Now this can be written as a minus b whole thing squared, subtract. What is 100? 100 can be written as 10 squared. So that's 10 squared c squared. So then it's a minus b whole thing squared, subtract. Since both these got a square, I can write square as a common index. It can be written as 10c squared. Now what do we see here? We see a difference between two squares. So how do you factorize? You got to put two brackets. What do you write in the first bracket? It's a minus b plus 10c. What's the structure? Same as this. What would come in the next other bracket, the second bracket? It's going to be a minus b minus 10c. Alright, that's it with question number 2. Question number 3, you're going to check whether you have typed the correct question. What I feel is question number 3 is not typed proper here. What I feel is the question should be 8 plus 125 x cubed. But what you have typed is x squared. Can you check whether it's a typo and confirm it to me? Right, let's look at number 4. That's x squared y plus 4xy minus 16xy squared. Alright, what's the common factor? We do see xy in all three terms. So xy is the common factor. So to get x squared y, by what should we multiply xy by? We got to multiply by x, so that we end up getting this x squared y. Plus, to get 4xy, by what should we multiply xy? By 4, obvious, minus, to get 16xy squared, we got to multiply xy by 16y. Alright, so what do we have? We have xy, that's outside the brackets. What do we have inside the brackets? We have x plus 4 minus 16y. Now, are we done with factorizing? No, we are not done with factorizing, because still we got common factors inside the brackets. So we can factorize these two green terms. We can write this as what? xy, x. What's the common factor? Plus 4 and minus 16. Both of them come in the 4 times table, so plus 4 is the common factor. 4 times what would give us 4? That's 1. And 4 times what would give us minus 16? Minus 16y. That's minus 4y. Alright, that's it with the question number 4.